Hey, what's going on everyone? Eric here. If you guys are watching this in the Facebook group or if you're watching on YouTube, you can join the Facebook group in the link below. But I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about my story on how I got started with phone flipping, how I got to doing over $10,000 plus in a month. But it wasn't always easy for me. I had a lot of struggles with learning all of these things. So that's why I created this group, and that's why we actually have a free mini course you guys can take so that you guys can kind of avoid those learning curves like I had. But I didn't really start flipping phones until a little over, I'd say it's like a year ago, because I quit my job about 10 months ago at the time of me making this video. So I was always kind of buying and reselling stuff at like garage sales and thrift stores. And I was making okay money, but it wasn't anything that, was really substantial. And I remember I was working a sales job, and that sales job just got to the point to where it really became like a struggle to get out of bed and go to that job every day, because it's just a miserable job. All my coworkers hated their job. I hated my job. I got micromanaged all day, and whether it was like a 90-year-old lady that just came in for a question, we had to try to just shove sales down these people's throats, and it just didn't feel right. And I didn't really have any control over my schedule. I was constantly working 9-hour days. I never got to see my wife. I had a baby on the way. And I was like, if I continue at this job, like I'll never be able to see my wife and kid. So I started taking, my side hustle more serious. So I was like, okay, I can buy and resell stuff for profit, but what's some better items I could flip and resell that I could make more money on? Because it's getting to the point where I'm not going to be able to keep working this job because I'm just so miserable there, and it's just not good for me. It's not good for my family. But obviously I have to be able to provide for my family, so I can't just up and leave this job. So I was trying to figure out ways I can make money. And I ended up stumbling across a guy by the name of David Kosciuszko, who's actually now my mentor and friend. And we actually partnered up to make the mini course for you guys. But it wasn't until I came across his content and I discovered that you can make some pretty serious money flipping phones and electronics. And he owns 3 retail stores, and he does, now I think he's doing like $30,000-$40,000 a month flipping phones and electronics. But it was like, that was the key. So I was like, let's see if this is real, let's give it a try. So actually, I'll never forget, I ended up flipping 2 phones one morning before I went to work. And I can't remember, I think it was like a Note 8 that was cracked and like an iPhone 7 Plus, and I bought them really cheap. And I remember I bought them, I listed them on eBay, and they sold before I even went to work, and I made over $200 profit on it. And I remember I actually took them to the post office on the way to work and shipped them out. And while I was driving to work, I was like, I just made more in 1 hour than I'm going to make in my entire 9-hour shift at work. Like, what am I doing? So I was like, it can't be this easy, right? And so, I kind of dabbled with it here and there, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to sign up. Dave has a paid course you can sign up for. So I signed up for his paid course, and I started taking it a little bit more serious because my job started getting really bad where, they were just making you shove sales down people's throat, whether it was ethical or not. It got to that point where it's getting really bad, so I knew I had to do something. And so I started taking it more serious. I signed up for Dave's paid course. And my first month, just flipping phones part-time, I did $2,500 on eBay. And that was huge. I was like, okay, if I truly apply myself towards this, I can actually make enough money to provide for my family, quit my job. And so I did. I put in my 2 weeks, and I just went for it. I'm not suggesting that you do this. I'm just letting you know, this is my story, this is how I did it. And I just applied myself and did exactly what he says to do in his course, and I did $10,700. And I actually have an interview in the mini course about, how I did that. It gets a little bit more detail, but I don't say this to boast or to brag, but to kind of show you guys, like, I'm just an everyday guy. Like, I'm no one special. I'm not super tech savvy. I'm not, super smart with these things. I just had a drive and a will to do it. And, anyone can do this. So if you guys are interested, be sure to check out the free mini course. Buying and selling phones have been an awesome experience for me. Obviously, there's ups and downs and there's learning curves that you'll have along the way, but if you can overcome those things and you can dial in and focus, it's probably the most practical side income you can do, in this day and age that doesn't take a whole lot of experience. So I hope you guys got value out of this. Check out the free mini course. It's in the files section of the Facebook group. And if you guys have any questions, be sure to post them in the Facebook group. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.